If you're thinking about starting a car rental business, you're probably wondering, what do I actually need to get started? What's this gonna cost me? Today, I'm going to be breaking down everything that you guys need to start your own car rental business and what each thing costs. Okay, so first things first, obviously you're going to need a car. Now let's talk about the different types. So unless you're doing exotics and luxury cars, and that's a whole different niche, and those cost a whole lot more, right? So your luxury cars can cost anywhere from $40,000 upwards up to $100,000, right? Your exotics are typically gonna be in the $100,000 range to $200,000, $300,000 range. But if you want to get economy cars, which is where I suggest most people start, and especially if you don't have the resources to get into those exotic vehicles, then I want you guys starting off small. Start off with the economy cars. These will typically cost you anywhere from $2,000 to up to $10,000. You want to get reliable cars, right? Don't start thinking outside the box, all right? Let's not reinvent the wheel. Go get you some tried and true reliable cars like your Hondas, your Toyotas, your Fords, reliable cars like your Camrys, your Malibus, your Ford Fusions, your Honda Accords. Where do you buy these vehicles? You're going to buy them from auctions, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, OfferUp, Craigslist. Those are where you guys are going to find these vehicles. I don't ever want you guys buying these cars at full price. Negotiate pricing very well. Point out defects in the vehicles to force the seller to drop the price down. And then you want to get those deals. Once again, like I said, you should cost you anywhere from $2,000 on the low end to maximum you're spending is $10,000 on the high end. Maybe if you're getting like some really nice Toyota Prius or something like that, but I don't want you guys going that high, ideally. Right? Next thing you're going to need is commercial insurance. So that way your vehicles are legal and then you can transact business with them. All right. So commercial insurance is pretty much what we need to protect these vehicles. All right. Why do you need it? Just in case the renter's in an accident, that way the vehicle is covered. Okay. Now you're going to need commercial insurance also sometimes to get your cars registered and be street worthy and street legal. How much is this going to cost? These cost as low as $80 on the low end to upwards of $130 per car. So that's typically where I see it max out. So that's commercial insurance. And the next thing you guys are going to need is a way to track the vehicles. You don't want the renter stealing your car or exceeding the boundaries, the geographic boundaries of where you want them to stay. Like I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I don't let people leave the Dallas-Fort Worth area. All right, so if you happen to take my car and all of a sudden you're driving down to Miami, a GPS tracker will let me know and I can shut off the vehicle. So you want one with a kill switch. GPS trackers will help you track the location of the vehicle and be able to shut it off remotely if the car is ever stolen. Why do you need this? Well, for obvious reasons, all right? It's protecting your cars from theft or for going out of state, and also as a way for you to kind of control your renters. If they ever start to do something that they're not supposed to do, but they're late on their payments, you can shut the car off and then that will force them to pay. Now, what are the costs on the tracker? Typically, I've seen trackers range anywhere from $80 on the low end to as high as $150 up front, and then some of them might have some subscription fees attached to them anywhere from $10 to $19 per month, depending on which one you get and the features that it has. Now, the next thing is going to be you need your command center, all right? This is how you're going to manage the operations. At the end of the day, you need to have systems in place, all right? So you can automate as much as possible, and that's where rental software comes in. So we use fleetfinesse.com. What does this do? It's pretty much going to house all your customers. This is how you're building your book of business. All your customers will live inside of there. You're able to send them contracts, payments. This is your customer management platform. Everything gets automated inside of there. So you definitely need one of these if you're going to be doing a private car rental business. All right. So why do you need it? No more paper contracts. All right. And trust me, when I started, I was using paper contracts. That becomes very much of a headache because let's just say somebody rents out a car for 2 to 3 days. All right. And you sign a paper contract for them. What about on the third day, the customer tells you, oh, I want to extend for another day. Yeah, my contract says you were meant to bring it back today, so I need you to sign a new one. Well, I'm an hour away from you, 2 hours away from you. So now you have to go drive all the way out there to go find them just to get them to re-sign that contract. So this is where, having rental software just automatically updates the contract. You don't have to do anything. Everything essentially runs through your contract. Customer can go into the software and even go extend the rental themselves and just pay, and it just happens automatically for you. All right, your rental software is typically going to cost you anywhere from $97 to $147 per month on the low end. I've seen some rental software out there, other ones other than Fleet Finesse, that charge you down payments up to anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000, and they charge upwards of $250 to $300 per month. That's the reason why we like it, because it's easy to use and you can just start no down payments and you can get started today with it. And if you guys need help starting your first car rental business and you're ready to get this thing going, right? You can't wait. I want you guys to click the link in the description right now so you can book a call with my team members and so we can see if you're a good fit to join my mentorship, all right? And so guys, the fifth fifth thing that you guys are going to need is you're going to need your LLC and your bank account. All right. Now, if I had to put this in order, I'll say the bank account first. All right. Obviously, you kind of need to have your LLC set up, but what I don't want is you guys wasting time and doing this first before you actually go get the cars and protect the cars and start making some money. All right. I don't even care if you're taking the money and paying it into your personal bank account, just starting off. I want you guys to go out there and start getting money. Don't waste months trying to set up your LLC and your car sitting collecting dust. No, that's putting the cart before the horse. When should you set it up? All right, so I set it up after the car is making money, not before. I can't stress this enough. A lot of you guys fall into this trap and you feel like you're doing busy work and you're spending months trying to pretty up your LLC. Don't do that. Now, where do you go get your LLC formed? So many places. You can go straight to your Secretary of State. All you do is pay your state fees, or you can use a site like busy.com for your LLC. For banks, hey, any bank that you already have a relationship with is perfect. You could do regional banks, you could do credit unions. Now, one thing I will tell you, and a mistake I made when I started off, is whatever bank you're using, make sure they actually have Zelle. All right, you'd be surprised. Most banks out there don't. So typically only the tier 1s and maybe tier 2 banks. A lot of the other ones don't do Zelle. All right, so you want to make sure you're using a bank that has Zelle, because your customers will sometimes, a lot of times, want to Zelle you money. Make sure you have that capability. Now, obviously, LLC fees vary depending on state. Typically anywhere from free to maybe $100 to $300 for your LLC, and then it's free to open up your bank account. So go ahead and get those done. Now, the sixth thing that you guys are going to need is going to be your rental agreement. All right, you guys do not want to go out there and you don't have a rental agreement, or you just go clip some crap from ChatGPT. All right, you need an actual contract. It's going to, because this is going to protect you guys legally. That's why you need this. God forbid something was to happen. Your rental agreement is going to have different clauses that states the terms of agreement. All right, between you and the renter. All right, you're going to have all the things that they're allowed to do and all the things that they're not allowed to do. And depending on what state you're in, like if you're in California, you have to list out certain things like the pricing of the vehicles. You have to inform the renter if you have a GPS tracker or air tag in the car. Those are some things in California that California requires. So rental agreements are very important. And this is sadly where I see a lot of people try to skimp or go cheap, or think that they can just go grab something on ChatGPT and get people to sign, and then that's why they end up in trouble later on. All right, so this is very critical. All right, this is important because if you have no contract, you have no protection if something goes wrong. All right, because once you have a claim, the first thing that the insurance company asks for is a rental contract. All right, they want to see that there's a legally binding rental contract. And no, you cannot now go create one and try to use your rental software to backdate it. It doesn't work. Rental software won't even let you do that. All right, for liability reasons, because the insurance companies will go after the rental software. You can't do that too. That's illegal to do. You'd be surprised also how many people try to do stuff like that, right? Because they're being too cheap and don't want to go get a rental contract. So the cost of getting that is, like if you already in my mentorship, you guys have access to mine, and I paid my lawyer $2,500 for. Otherwise, you guys can go get one from a lawyer, pay them. It costs quite a bit of money. Otherwise, we'll have a link in the bottom of this video where you guys can grab a rental agreement. That way, you guys stay protected. All right. Now, the next thing is going to be customer screening. This is so important, guys. Checking things like the driver's license, the background check, insurance, all of that stuff. You've got to make sure that you, just like the FBI, you build a profile on your customer before you hand over your keys. See, a lot of people, they're too quick to go take money, and then they just trust. They say they have an instinct, they had an intuition about this person. I didn't sense any red flags. All right, in this business, we trust, but we verify. Okay, spidey senses are not a risk management control. Okay, and so the reason why we're doing this obviously is to avoid scammers and thieves. Every day, somebody's gonna want to steal the car that you own. All right, and so you have to make sure that you're protected. All right, now costs are typically, some of these tools are included in your rental software, like if you use Fleet Finesse, or maybe you might have to pay maybe $20-$30 a month for some service that can provide these things to you. And once again, if people in mentorship, you guys have access to the best tools out there, and what we use out there in the field that's very effective for us, and we'll tell you guys. The eighth thing that you guys need to do is go out there and start marketing. All right, you're going to go out there and start marketing. All right, your car is not going to market itself. No business is passive. If you're lazy and you don't want to do work, then this isn't for you, because you're going to need to market your business. Anything that's worth doing is worth doing well. That's how you reap the benefits of it. There's always going to be seed time, and then there's harvest. A lot of people just want the harvest. No, it doesn't work like that. Marketing is how you attract customers to you. And what works out there in this industry, all right, just do not discount just going out there and shaking hands and letting people know this is what you do. All right, you never know, word of mouth travels, and all it takes is one referral, and then you just build a pipeline that just continues to feed you forever. All right, you go out to body shops, establish relationships with the mechanic shops, car dealerships. This is social media, right? In today's age, there's just so many avenues, especially using social media, where you could just make one post. You could spend 10 minutes making one post, and the algorithm will send it out to 100,000 people. That is amazing. amazing. Y'all think about this, right? Maybe the O2 Arena or T-Mobile Arena, one of these big arenas where they play these football games or basketball games, those probably seat maximum anywhere from 20 to 100,000 people. So put that in perspective. When you just make a social media post and say 20,000 people see it, you just had a whole stadium full of people looking at your company. That's amazing, guys. And I think we take that for granted. And guess what? Best part about it is it's free. It just took you a few minutes of your time. Now, some of you guys are stuck in your ways and like, oh, I don't do the whole social media. But you're shooting yourself in the foot. There's also other ways too, right? I remember back in the days when I had my car insurance agency, we used to do door hangers. So once again, if you don't want to do the social media thing, you could take it old school. All right, go print out door hangers. We had to design them, take them to a printer, and then we'd have to go hire people to go put them on doors for us and pay those people to go do it, or you have to go do it yourself. You go to these apartment complexes, all of that stuff, and you have your little flyer door hanger, and you put them on their doors. They're still effective. Lawn services still do them every day. Every time I come home, somebody's put a business card or a door hanger on my door, all right, to advertise their service. So it still technically works. All right, now how much does it cost for marketing? Obviously, for economy cars, zero. You could do your marketing with these economy cars, especially starting off with just $0, and you get enough business to have all your cars going. Obviously, as you get to a point of scale and you have a lot of cars, there are other paid methods that I would suggest you start to do, all right? That way, you put yourself neck and neck and you're competing with the likes of Avis and Hertz in your area and Turo. So those are other paid marketing channels out there that you could definitely do. But starting off zero, now to get all your cars going. Now, if you're doing luxury and exotic cars, right, you must be willing to spend money on marketing. If you're not willing to spend money on marketing, do not get into that niche. I see a lot of people, they fail and struggle in that niche because sadly in some communities, they just don't think that, they think marketing should be free and they don't ever believe in doing marketing. They just feel like businesses should be passive, customers should come to them automatically, or if they pay somebody for mentorship, the mentorship should bring all the customers to them and they shouldn't have to do anything. No business works like that, guys. I hate to break it to you. Especially if you're going out there and doing the exotic cars and the luxury cars, you must be willing to go out there and go get business, all right? That's how your phone will stay ringing forever, all right? Now, what's the total cost of all of these? Let's walk through the numbers, all right? So all in, just to start, you're looking at anywhere, let's say you're doing cheap economy cars, anywhere from, depending on the price of the car, let's just say you bought a $5,000 car, you're looking at maybe $5,500 to start, and that's it. Car and setup costs, right? Your monthly expenses, depending if you finance the car, I'm talking about your car expenses plus your car rental software and all of that, maybe $200 to $400 a month, your software and all of that stuff. But your first car will make you anywhere from $1,200 to $1,600 per month. That's when people miss a lot. People miss that gem right there. I haven't yet to see a business that has a higher cash on cash return than renting out these cars. I mean, the cash on cash return is amazing. You spend $3,000 or $4,000 on a car and you're bringing in $1,600 every month, meaning in a year that car is making you almost $15,000, but you just spend $3,000. That's an amazing cash on cash return right there. My math might be wrong, but that's almost 500%. It's amazing. Now, here's the next thing, guys, and I'm going to tell you guys why mentorship matters, especially when you want to get into the private car rental business. Think about this. What do you get wrong without it, right? You could buy the wrong cars, right? You have bad contracts. You don't vet your customers properly. You rent to the wrong people. So many things can go wrong in this industry. It's crazy because everybody thinks they could do this on their own until their car ends up in Mexico. All right, that's something I always like to say. All right, and you always think you could do this on your own until you run into the wrong renter, and then that's when you realize that you should have probably gotten some mentorship. And now, what sadly starts to happen is a lot of them start to DM me after they've made all the mistakes, after they've put themselves in a bad situation. As a matter of fact, I just had a lady DM me the other day telling me how they completely goofed off, and now the renter hit some people and might have even killed people, and now there's a lawsuit against them, all because they had no risk management and they just completely botched the whole transaction. And now they want me to help them fix that. I don't get involved in messy situations like that. You need to go speak to a lawyer, right? Instead of paying me for mentorship at that point, go pay a high-priced lawyer to get you out of the mess you put yourself into. So this is why mentorship from the start, a lot of people like to put the cart before the horse. They like to go, oh, let me go buy my cars first and then I'll come get it. Or let me go start first and then I'll come do it. Like they say, you can't put sugar on poop. I can't fix the mistakes that you've already made. Now, what do these mistakes cost? All right, it could be thousands of dollars to going into possibly with this woman in this lawsuit. It could possibly even cost her hundreds of thousands of dollars in mistakes, right? One bad car purchase, one bad renter, one bad accident, and you might be facing bankruptcy or jail time. So that's some of the things that people don't realize when they go out there there and they go start these things. Now you think about it, would you go start, say, an electrical business, all right, without any kind of mentorship or anything like that, right? Or any formal training? You'd be dumb to go do that, because number one, you could get yourself killed. Number two, you can make somebody's house catch fire, right? You need someone that's done it before and can show you the ropes and show you the right way to do it, right? And that's the whole point. Now, mentorship, what does it save you? It's gonna save you time, all right? You're shortcutting the line. You're getting the information that you guys need to go execute immediately. You're learning from all my mistakes. I've been doing this for over 7 years. All the wealth of knowledge, not just me, thousands of students that are in here. You're gonna learn from all of their mistakes. And then guys, you bypass all of that, right? You just immediately ask them, hey, what are the best cars to get? And they're telling you. That's not information you're gonna go get Googling it on your own or saying, oh, I use a Turo calculator. None of that crap works. You can't go to a Reddit board and find out what to get. But a lot of people think they could do that. Or by consuming all my YouTube videos, they think they have enough information to go out there to go execute. The next thing is gonna save you money, right? Because one bad mistake wipes out all your profits. Just one bad mistake you make. And a lot of times these scammers come right around the first of the month or when things are really slow in the economy. They just kind of sense it in the air. And that's when they hit. When you really need some money to go make a payment, or maybe you have your bills are due. That's when those scammers come in and they make you a very tempting offer. And then that's when you end up dropping the ball. And it's gonna just save you from expensive trial and error, right? Because at the end of the day, you can use YouTube University, and all you're doing is you're taking a video from me and from this guy and from that guy and taking all this information. You're trying to puzzle piece all of that stuff together, and then you're just learning by trial and error. And that's when you can end up making a fatal mistake, all right? You also have to ask yourself this question, guys. Why do successful people have mentors? Why? Why do you think even billionaires, millionaires still have mentors? Currently, as we speak, I have 3 different mentors. Why do we do that? Why would I'm already a 7-figure earner. Why do I still have a mentor? All right, guess what, guys? Because it's the fastest path. Anything I'm trying to learn, I'm going to go get a mentor to teach me so I can just shortcut my way to success. I don't want to have to waste all that time. I don't care if I need to go get some credit, go leverage my credit to go pay them, because at the end of the day, it's the ROI, right? A lot of people get caught up on the cost of whatever it is, and they're not thinking about the return on their investment that they're gonna get. If I told you that if you paid somebody $1 and you can make $5, see, sadly, a lot of people just stay focused on the $1 and they're not seeing the $5 that they're gonna start making consistently eventually. Learn from someone else who's done it. That's the shortcut to anything that you guys are trying to do. So look, guys, you guys now have exactly what you guys need. You've got the car, you've got the insurance, you've got the trackers, you've got the rental software, you've got your LLC, your bank accounts, you've got your contracts, all of that, your risk management and your marketing. You've got all of that all in. You're looking at anywhere from $3,000 to $11,000 on the highest end to start your car rental business, all right? And you have your first car start making anywhere from $1,200 to $1,600 per month. But here's the reality, guys. You can have all of this and still fail if you don't know how to execute properly. And once again, that's where mentorship comes in. So guys, if you are serious about starting a car rental business, guys, and you want my help doing this the right way, I want you guys to click the link in the description to book a call with me and my team, and we'll walk you through exactly what you guys need to get into your first car and go start making money. And guys, I hope you like this video, and I'll see you guys on the inside.